Okay, so I was planning on recording my reaction as soon as I got home from the movie theater, but I was not in the most presentable of states, and yeah, didn't happen. So I've had a chance to sleep on it, thought about it a lot, and by a lot I mean constantly in the past 24 hours or so. So yeah. Les Mis. Overall impression, holy god, that was amazing. It was one of the most unbelievably perfect things I've ever experienced in my life. Acting was great, singing was brilliant, and the set and the costumes and everything, I couldn't get over it. It was just so epic. Oh my god. Especially the special effects at the very beginning, the opening scene when it's Jean Valjean still in prison and and all the workers hauling the boat in, and it was just like, this is so cool. So naturally, I, like most people who have a soul, cried a lot during this movie. Anytime Anne Hathaway, Fantine, was on the screen, I couldn't help but cry, because Fantine is my favorite, and I know what happens to her, I know how her story ends, and I couldn't stop. It just happened. Anne Hathaway, by the way, oh my god, knocked it out of the park. I was blown away. It was so good. It was so good. Also, most of the scenes with the boys at the barricade, just because, you all are too young and too attractive to die like this. All the death scenes had me ugly crying. And there were a lot of death scenes. For A Little Fall of Rain, I cried harder than I've ever cried during that scene in my life, because I think it was my adoration for both Eddie Redmayne and Samantha Barks seeping through, and just the two of them together as Marius and Eponine, and then singing sad song and then death. It's like, nope, couldn't handle it, and it was gross, ugly crying. It was great, but yeah, I was a mess. Speaking of which, there are some people in this world who, in my opinion, should never be allowed to cry. They should be protected and loved, and nothing bad should ever happen to them, and they should never suffer, because when they are sad and they cry, it makes me sob. And yesterday, I found out that one of those people is Eddie Redmayne. Okay, so as for the songs, yes, the live singing worked better for some than it did for others. I Dreamed a Dream and On My Own were done perfectly. It worked really well for those two. A Heart Full of Love was also surprisingly good, I thought, because just the way they sang the lines, and it's just like, oh my god, you guys are so cute and in love. I thought Russell Crowe was pretty good. There were only like a few lines where he was projecting, or he had to hold a note for a really long time when it got kind of shaky, but I didn't really have a problem with him. I liked it. Amanda Seyfried, I love her, and she's adorable, and she's perfect and everything, but I can't, her voice sometimes when she was getting the really, really high notes, sometimes her voice got a little too thin and tinny for me. It seemed like she was going for delicate, but it just was not enough substance for it. I don't know. So the very first time I felt like crying was when we saw the Bishop for the first time. And for those of you who are, on the more obsessive sides of the fan appreciation, you know that the Bishop was actually the actor who was the original Jean Valjean in the Broadway run. I thought that was beautiful, and I was just really overwhelmed with everything, and I didn't know what to do myself, so I just felt like crying. The little scene with Javert and Gavroche's body after the battle, when he takes the little medal on his coat and he puts it on Gavroche, and it's like, oh my god! Butterflies in A Heart Full of Love. It made me giggle. I'm not even gonna lie. It was like it was cute and so corny. And I couldn't believe they actually did that, because like, even in context, like, how often do you see butterflies at night? Javert's suicide. That scene is one of my favorite scenes in the whole musical. And then all of a sudden we get this really loud, gruesome crack. And it just grossed me out. And I was like, no, why would you do that? That is not necessary, no. And then, oh god, when they were banging on the door, begging for help during the attack, ugh, it was like gone, tears everywhere. Merlin fans, you're going to enjoy this one. And by enjoy, I mean you're gonna want to kill me. During A Little Fall of Rain, those couple of lines that say, just hold me now and let it be, shelter me, comfort me. I was sitting there the whole time and I thought, oh my god, Merlin, no, why? And then from there it was just like emotions everywhere, and I was crying really hard. So this is actually really great, because when my friend and I went to see it, it was the last scene, the finale, and it's the very last song, the last line, when it's all like, tomorrow comes, and then the music is, the final notes of the music are crashing, and then it goes straight to black. And this one guy in the theater with us said really loudly, whoa. And I thought that was a very good, brief summary of the entire cinematic experience. It was kind of like when I went to see the very last Harry Potter movie. It was over and I did not want to leave the theater. I just sat there in my seat, crying, sobbing, trying not to be loud, trying to get myself back together. And I was having a moment with the music as the credits were rolling. Incidentally, I want every soundtrack of this movie available. Like, I want the highlights, I want the full soundtrack, I want the instrumental, I want the score, I want everything. I just take my money. I really need to see it again, and again, and again, and again, and again. It is definitely one of my most favorite movies, if not my all-time favorite. It was good. I love it so much. So basically, this film is full of attractive people and beautiful songs and heartbreaking plot lines and tears everywhere.